Hi. This is going to be an extremely casual video. We got Zane here, and this is just real life. So I thought it would be fun to do a video in celebration of Joshua and my 6-year anniversary that is coming up, 6-year marriage anniversary. I thought it would be fun to do like a marriage type video, not because I'm an expert by any means, but because we've been at this for quite some time now, and I feel like I've learned a lot, and I thought it would just be fun to just share what I've learned. So if this is interesting to you, keep on watching. One of the main things that I've learned about marriage is that marriage is a give and take. Sometimes it's more give than it is take. I truly believe that every single day, each individual should be putting forth their best effort. You should be putting so much energy and love and patience and all the things into your marriage, and you should be giving it your all. Every day. I fully believe that. However, I do know that life is life, that sometimes it's hard. Sometimes you're in grad school. Sometimes you have a newborn baby. Sometimes you're sick. Sometimes, your mental health is not what it should be. Maybe you've lost someone. You've lost a family member. You've lost a friend. You're grieving. You're depressed. Whatever it is, life is messy. And I know that when you are not full, you may not have 100 to give. Marriage is, you're a team. Not just, two individuals who are just living together, making their lives into one, but you're a team. And the way that I see that in my brain is, me and Josh, we're a team. We're pulling weight together. We're doing life together. And sometimes one of us may be a little weaker than the other. Maybe, like I just said, all the reasons why. You just don't have 100 to give. Maybe that's you. And not every day. We're not going to be able to put 100% in every day. It's just realistic. You're not. And so on those days, it's important to have someone who is willing to pick it up. Someone who's willing to pick up the slack, who's willing to dig in, push harder, and to give more effort, because sometimes we just can't all do it. And so thankfully, Josh and I feel like we come from that same mentality where there are some days where I'm just not fully in it. And so sometimes it's not 100-100. Sometimes it's 60-40. Sometimes it's 50-50. Sometimes, it's 70-30. Like, life is life. And once you're doing it with someone else, you're a team, you're both pulling the weight. And that's the really cool thing about it, is that we're not fighting each other. We're not racing against each other, but we're both together, pulling each other when we need to. Sometimes you gotta just really help that other person, and marriage has been that. Another thing that marriage has taught me is that marriage is not an end point. What I mean by that is this is also this is coming from someone who got married at 20 years old. I knew Josh since I was 14, and it just kind of was what it was. I really liked him, honestly, instantaneously. Like, I just thought he was really cool. I thought he was different. I thought he was funny. He really is all of those things, all these years later. And so we got married at 20 years old, and marriage is not an end point. So in society, in culture, in TV, in movies, I've had friends, people I know who they feel that, I want to have fun. I want to go travel. I want to do all the things. I want to go to school. I want to do all of this stuff. And then I'll settle down and I will get married after I've done all of those things. As if, you cannot do any of those things while you are married. And I want to say, first of all, I respect that. If you want to do, all your little to-do list before you get married, then I think that's great. I encourage people to go to school. I encourage you to travel. Like, I encourage all of that. Not everybody should be married at 20. Like, I fully know this. We got married at 20 years old, and thank God that life did not end when we got married. We both went to college. We both graduated. We both graduated and got our bachelor's degree. We both started careers. We had great jobs. We moved into an apartment. We got a house. We had a baby. Like, we've done traveling. We went to Disneyland, Disney World. We went to Branson, Missouri, to Diz. We've done a lot together. We've done probably more together than we could have done apart. That's not why we got married, but it's true. We have followed our dreams. We've encouraged each other. We've pushed each other, and we have done so many fun things together. Marriage should never be like the end-all be-all. Once I'm married, I can't do these things. Absolutely not. Once you're married, you have someone to share these things with, and we have just had so much fun together in the last 6 years. It's been wonderful. Another thing that I've learned while being married, I've learned that you change. People change. Oh my God, like, I had so many people tell me before we got married, you know, you're so young, you know, you're going to change so much, and, you know, you're going to get older, you're going to experience life, and you're just going to change, and he's going to change, and what if you don't like it? So first thing concerning that is, if you are going into a marriage with the mindset that the person you are marrying will never change, then I feel like you need to adjust your mindset. Secondly, if you are going into a marriage thinking, if this person changes, then I will not want to stay married to them, then I feel like you should also adjust your mindset, because A, we are human beings. Whether you get married at 20 or whether you get married at 30 or even at 50, life is an evolution. Like, I feel like you're always growing. You should be growing, changing, learning. Yes, you're experiencing life, you're experiencing new things, and you are changing. Absolutely. But I feel like if you expect to marry someone and expect them to be the same human being for decades, for literally decades, then I just don't feel like you understand how a human being works. I can't even tell you how much I have changed in the last 6 years, how much Josh has changed in the last 6 years. We have changed so much. We have both grown. We have both changed our minds on a lot of things. We've come a long way. And then, you know, like, we've went into it thinking, yeah, we want to have kids, and then as we kind of had a few years of marriage, we're like, absolutely not, we do not want children. Then surprise, we have Zane, who is just beautiful. So I've become a mom, and he's become a dad, and through that transition alone, we have both become entirely new human beings. So I feel like my point is that you are always changing, you are always growing, and sure, like, the core of the human stays the same. However, so much changes, and when you get married, you have to assume this is life. Like, we are in it. We are going to continue getting to know each other. We're going to continue learning about each other. Like, me and Josh have random conversations where we're like, oh, I never knew that about you. And it's like, we've known each other for over 10 years, and we're still constantly discovering new things. Why? Because we're constantly changing. And so when you go into marriage, you have to be like, we're in it. We got to keep getting to know each other. We have to keep communicating. We have to keep learning and growing, not just on our own, but together. Because for it to be a healthy relationship, you can't stay the same, and you can't expect the other person to stay the same, because that's not really fair either. I'm just saying, in general, your dreams change, your goals change. Your humor maybe changes, your personality maybe changes just a little bit, especially, you know, Josh and I, we started this whole thing when we're 14 years old, and so we have changed so much, because we were literally children, and now we are adults, and so yeah, you have to just be able to keep on getting to know that person as much as you can. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up here, because my kid is getting tired, and I'm getting hungry, so real life. But anyway, the last 6 years with Joshua have just been so amazing. They have not been perfect. They have been hard. They've been filled with so much growth. They've been filled with a lot of hard work on both of our parts. We have had to bust our butt to make this life that we have now. We have had God's favor, I feel, in every step of the way. I have married someone who honors God and who puts his faith and his finances and all of those things in God's goodness, and I could not do what I do without having a husband who honestly does all of those things. Joshua is the person that I prayed for. He's the person that I honestly never thought would be attainable. Like, he's not perfect, but he is such a good human who just loves God, loves me, he loves Zane, and I feel like I can see that in his choices, in his behavior, in his actions. And so I am so thankful for everything that he's done. I'm so thankful that God sent me Josh, yes, at a very young age. It's just been such a great 6 years. So with all of that said, again, I am not a marriage expert. Absolutely not. My life is not perfect. We know this. And my marriage is not perfect. However, I would not change a thing with Josh. This journey that we've been on has just been great. It's been hard, and we have prayed so much. But looking at where we are now, I'm just like, this is what life is. This is what life should be. Every day with him is just so much fun. And even when we don't agree, we both know this is where we're supposed to be, and we will make it work. We're not just fighting on our own. We have God who is constantly in our lives and constantly kind of like guiding us and leading us. And honestly, I just pray for more grace every day to be able to make the decisions that I need to make and to be the wife that I want to be and that I should be. So anyway, happy 6 years, Joshua Zane. It's been quite the ride, and I just can't wait for more years.